We got 16 games coming your way tonight in Major League Baseball action. Which of those games can we make some money betting? That's what you're going to find out here on First Pitch WagerTalk TV. Dan Alexander hanging out with you and joining me. Friday edition, our usual Friday crew live here. We got Bryan, Leonard, and Steve Merril getting you ready to go for some weekend action here. And yes, we know NFL preseason is in full swing, but don't discount the money you can be making in MLB action. We're going to talk Mets, Seattle, Chicago Cubs, the Cards and Royals, and the Rangers, Yankees. That's coming up here on WagerTalk TV. Bryan, I say we get right into it, man. Talk this Mets and Seattle series that's kicking off. Mets, they did get to play the Rockies in Colorado, but they had 9 runs come across last night, so they come off that throttling. While Seattle, they finally scrape a win against the Tigers, but they're entering this final series of this 9-game homestand that's only seen them get 3 wins. So interesting start to another series here. Mets, Seattle. You think Seattle gets off on the right foot here and continues a little momentum? What do you think, Bryan?
Well, at first glance, Jose Quintana is having a pretty decent season. 3.95 ERA, 1.27 whip, a little high, but a closer look shows a 5.04 expected ERA, which is a career high for him. Expected ERA is in the 12th percentile. Expected batting average in the 14th percentile. And his fastball velocity is only in the 9th percentile. One positive for Jose Quintana this year has been a very good ground ball rate. He's in the 68th percentile in that regard. If you take a look at his home road dichotomy, on the road, his ERA is 1.2, runs higher than at home, with a whip of 1.4, which is not very good. We think we've got a good spot to go against him here because he is coming off a very successful month in July. And as I've talked about in the past, I'm not into short-term trends. I'm into long-term trends. We know what kind of pitcher Quintana is, and he's been pitching pretty well as of late. That means we come out and we go against them, and that's the way you make money betting in sports. When everybody else is going one way, you got to go the other way, and it's worked out very well for us on a nice 9-3 run as we head into today. And by the way, this is going to be one of, well, actually both my plays today are the ones I'm going to talk mostly about here. So you get 2 free plays. It's early. I haven't gotten a lot of stuff up yet, but these are 2 that I'm using. But big things are expected from Bryce Miller entering this year. Mm-hmm. After all, he had an impressive rookie season in 2023. Thus far, he's improved his ERA by 0.7 runs a game and his whip by 0.09. So he's doing very well. His fastball run velocity is in the 87th percentile, while his off-speed run value sits in the 94th percentile. In his young career, he owns a 5.4 walk percentage, compared to an 8.4 league average, a full 3 points lower than league average from a guy who's only pitching in his second year. You rarely see that here. That kind of control in Major League Baseball from young guys, it's almost unheard of. Are we looking at the future George Kirby? Has he learned something from his teammate? He's been very good thus far, and I'm looking to bet on him. This is the first home game of the month of August here for the Mariners. It's expected to be packed tonight with the big city National League club in town and post-game fireworks. We like the Mariners' chances against the Mets team playing in their 4th different city on the road the last 6 days. Keep in mind, they had that makeup game at St. Louis. So they're on the road, 4 different cities in 6 days. That can't be good. And they're also coming off, as you mentioned, the altitude of Colorado. And from what I've heard from the players in Major League Baseball, they talk about the differential. And it's usually highest the first game after being in Colorado as opposed to anything else. So we're looking to fade the Mets here. We'll play Seattle. And as you mentioned, this is a team that needs some victories. They got they played Philadelphia pretty well, and they come around and against Detroit, they lost 2 of 3. I'm looking for Seattle to win tonight, and the price is very reasonable in my regard.
Shout out to the chat joining us here live. Tyler is full lockstep with you there, Bryan. He's saying it's Miller time, so don't tell Ralph Michaels that it is Miller time. But
always Miller time for Ralph Michaels.
Yeah, it's always Miller time when it's Ralph Michaels o'clock. That is for sure. Hop below in the comments. Let us know which games you want to hear from. Also, let us know what your best bets are. Tyler saying he loves the Mariners. That's his pick of the day. Shout out to him, Titan CT boss. 429. While you're hanging out with us, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that little bell. And if you're watching us on social media, make sure you hit that follow button. Steve Merril is peeling himself away from some Olympic basketball, getting the eyes off the telly to talk a little baseball here. Steve, man, got sweaty yesterday. We can talk about that maybe a little bit later, but let's start off with you with this Rangers and Yankees game, because Rangers, they had a day off yesterday, but they make a trip to the White House. So maybe we have a fade the White House visit angle. For the Yankees, Yankees were red hot until they ran into the beast that is the Los Angeles Angels, apparently. Dropped that series. Now they're taking on Texas, who's looking to have this second third of the season be a little bit better than the first, as they sit 7 games under 500. So this is, while maybe teams aren't in their typical form when you see these teams match up, this too, like that Mets and Seattle series, pretty intriguing handicap here. How do you see game 1 shaking out?
Could we have a possible World Series hangover for the Rangers? Well, they've had one all season long, and then, of course, they visited the White House yesterday on Thursday. We'll see how much of a factor that is. Hey, speaking of championships, don't forget the gold and bronze medal men's Olympic basketball games are tomorrow on Saturday.
Well,
I will have standalone deep dive videos for both matchups. We've got Germany and Serbia early 5 a.m. Eastern Saturday, so get that one tonight on Friday. And then at 3 o'clock Eastern Saturday afternoon, USA, France on their home court. Home dog has pulled 2 upsets. Can they do it against Team USA, who came back from a huge deficit yesterday? I'll have breakdowns of both of those videos here on WagerTalk TV Friday evening. So hit subscribe and click that bell for an instant alert, along with the daily baseball plays when they go free on this channel as well. As far as this Yankee-Rangers game, I think the over 9 is the best way to play it. There's lots of uncertainty with both of these pitchers, Bradford and Rodon. Both are not in good current form. In fact, Rodon's only given up, 1, 2, 3 runs in each of his past few outings, but then look how many innings he's pitched. He's hardly gone past the 4th or 5th innings most times. So this is a guy that still has a 5.6 ERA in his last 7 starts. That's Carlos Rodon. So not looking to lay $2 with him. But then again, I don't think it's a great spot for the Rangers with Cody Bradford back on the mound. Lots of uncertainty with Bradford, who was out for 3.5 months with a fractured rib. He has returned to the rotation. His first start was against Boston. He only went 3 innings back last Saturday, and he gave up 3 runs. Terrible debut there. So 2 pitchers that are very mediocre, below average. If you want 2 offenses that are more capable at times, rain is in the forecast, though, so a little bit of uncertainty for that reason. With that said, I'd rather have the over in this game. Over 9, a very key number, as we know. So as long as this stays 9 or less, take a look at Rangers and Yankees over the total tonight at 7 Eastern in New York. And don't forget, comment below. I read all the comments. I reply back. Thumbs up, like. And also check out the rest of August free right now on my page. When you buy September, October, you get the rest of August for free, including tonight's Strong Baseball Best Bets and a bonus free play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with that shortcut code you see on the screen, WT.buzz/SM.
Yeah, and that's one of the games that you may want to keep an eye on just as far as weather is concerned. We do have some wind blowing across the field is what it looks like. Potential storms that'll be in the area, so keep an eye on that, a potential delay. I don't think that it's going to get postponed, but definitely some weather to keep a track on in that one. Shout out to the comments, Smoking Tree, Lone Clark tuning in, Smoking Tree saying Padres moneyline, Reds team total over 3.5, Phillies team total over 4.5. Max play. So I'm hoping those are 3 separate max plays. Hey, if you're parlaying them together, best of luck to you there, Smoking Tree. But maybe single them and do a little sprinkle for the max play on the 3 team parlay there. Guys, let's talk this Cards and Royals game because man, as you look this one kicking off, it's just been all about the long ball for what Kansas City has been doing. 13, lucky number 13 for you home run prop bettors. You've been picking your spots with this team, and if you pick the right one, you cash 13 straight times because they've homered in 13 straight games. really highlighted by Bobby Witt Jr., who was serenaded with the chance of MVP yesterday with 2 homers, 4 ribbies. That was actually on Wednesday's game against the Boston Red Sox. But for you, Bri, anything stand out to you in this one? I mean, do we just keep riding this hot hand? Look at the Royals team total over. We heard Smoke and Tree looking at some team totals, but I mean, this team has just been raking them up, and now they also come in off a day of rest. So what do you think about this one?
Well, before I get to this one, I do want to disagree with you in regards to that Yankees game. We're looking at 82% chance of rain throughout the entire game, 20-mile-an-hour winds. I doubt they play that game today. So if you've got a limited budget, don't tie up that kind of money.
Bryan, might actually have been postponed. I'm gonna take a look at it. So I was looking at the early forecast there. So I'll confirm that here for you for a second. But I think you might be right there, Bryan.
Yeah, I just looked at the WagerTalk live lines, and it has been postponed. It's a shame because I liked Steve's breakdown on the total, because anytime you've got a rain delay and that kind of thing, the starters aren't going to be in for long, and they're lefties. Yeah. So that would have worked out well for Steve if I would agree on it, but doesn't do us any good now because it's not going to be played. But taking a look at this Kansas City game, I'm a Cleveland fan. We know I'm a Cleveland fan. I'm wearing a Cleveland Indians shirt as we speak. Cleveland Indians have a doubleheader today, and the first game goes off in about 3 hours. They haven't decided who they're going to play. But Cleveland will finish in third place in that division. We've talked about it all season long. Kansas City, we've taken a look at run scored, run against, which is what, to me, is more important than wins and losses. Kansas City's been excellent. They're one of the best in Major League Baseball. And I like the way Minnesota's playing, and they got a good chance to sweep this doubleheader against Cleveland today. So, unfortunately, my run for the Guardians is about to end. They just don't have any pitching. That's my concern. But, Kansas City right now at home. Lorenzen's a guy that I like for the most part, getting a shot here at Kansas City after coming over from Texas. Mikolas for St. Louis. Mikolas, he's not a strikeout pitcher. In fact, neither one of these guys are strikeout pitchers, which are a concern because we do have some pretty good talented offenses here. But I prefer the Kansas City side here with Lorenzen. Kansas City has been one of the best home teams in Major League Baseball. In fact, if you take a look at some of their numbers, their home road dichotomy is only second to Colorado. In Colorado, we all know, you bet on the Rockies or you bet the overs in Colorado, you bet against that Rockies offense on the road, or you bet against Colorado. We're looking at something very similar with Kansas City, and it's funny because this has never been a good hitting stadium. It's got a lot of room. You get singles and doubles, but you don't have a lot of home runs. But this has been a high-scoring ballpark, very similar somewhat to Kansas or San Diego this year. They're getting a little bit more at home than they have in the past, but Kansas City's found a way, whether they're cheating or not cheating, on their home games, but they've been very good. Major offense in Kansas City. So I think they'll get to Mikolas. Mikolas has not impressed me, and he's just an innings eater. Give me Kansas City in this one. And it's near a pick'em line, which is somewhat surprising. I think Kansas City is a value play here on Friday.
Yeah, and for me, I know that sometimes we, tiptoe around the props, everything like that. For me, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Like, I'm not going to pick a home run hitter, but I'm getting plus money on Bobby Witt Jr. to have 1 RBI. It says 1 or more over on the green book that's going to charge us tax when we win coming up here soon. But they're not charging tax yet. It's plus 135, Bobby Witt, 1 RBI or more. Steve, for you, any thoughts in this one? Also want to give you a shout out as over on TikTok. Reparations due 1619 saying that he loves him some Merril. So quite the username, but he loves himself some Merril over there.
Was he a pilgrim?
TikTok.
Did his ancestors come over to Plymouth Rock? I mean, what reparations are due to the pilgrims? They got plenty of turkey until they starved. That's actually a true story.
I didn't get the write up of his whole entire family tree. All I got was, hey, he loves him some Steve Merril. So we appreciate you tuning in here. I'll dive deeper. While you give us some thoughts. Dan. Yeah, I got you. Inquiring minds want to know, and I'll put in the work, find out for you, Steve.
I will say real quick, as a service alert, as we head
ahead.
into the football season here with all the media we do, we probably do not want to dig into these usernames too much. Joe Ranieri made that mistake with Instagram Live with the day drinking, and as you see, we don't see a lot of Joe this summer. Joe's behind the scenes recovering as we speak, so just be careful.
That's very fair. That's a good point. Good housekeeping note as we head into football season. We'll be blowing up more than ever. For you, Steve, any thoughts on this St. Louis Cardinals and Kansas City Royal games? If not, we're going to swing it to this. Kyle Musafin was asking about the Twins and Cleveland games. He says, I don't like Ober, to be honest. Maybe the over. So Ober and over. But first, if you have any bookend thoughts, touching on what Bryan did with the Cards and Royals, if not Cleveland and Twins.
Yeah, we'll look at Cleveland and Twins, and it actually segued about the Royals. We've talked about this earlier in the week when Bryan was on and I were on. The Royals right now are third in that division, despite having the best run differential in the division, ahead of both Minnesota and Cleveland that are half a game and 4 games ahead of them. And of course, Kansas City's a young team. They've been 13 games up at home, 1 down on the road. This game is at home tonight, but interesting, is Kansas City underrated or are they overachieving? There's 2 ways to look at that. But the 2 teams that are ahead of them, as you mentioned, Dan, are the Guardians and Twins. So once again, this is a huge matchup heading into the weekend in the American League for the playoff implications for that division, because right now we do have the Minnesota Twins 3.5 games back of the Guardians. So if they were able to win the next 3, they'd be a half a game back. That's how simple the math is. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Minnesota is a slight favorite tonight. Total sitting 8.5 in most spots, but we have seen it drop to 8. So it doesn't look like it's going to hit that key number of 9. As far as the pitching matchup in this one, we've got Cobb versus Varland, according to the WagerTalk live odds screen. Circa, I believe, still does not have a number on this game. And I think one of the reasons is because there's a little bit of uncertainty on who might be going for Minnesota. Some of the matchups I look at do not have a listed starter. But once again, WagerTalk live odds has Varland, who I'd have to dig up some numbers on. Hasn't pitched a lot as a starter this year. Alex Cobb, we can talk about, not in good current form, 5.8 ERA in his last 7 starts, but all of those came last year, right? So a lot of uncertainty with the starting pitchers in this game. We'll have to keep an eye on, see if it's really Varland versus Cobb. If it is, I'd say Minnesota might have the edge, as Cleveland's probably not going to be too familiar with them. But then again, Cobb hasn't made a start this year either. Could it be a sneaky under with 2 pitchers that the hitters aren't too familiar with?
That's Steve Merril, WT.buzz/SM. If you head on over to WagerTalk.com, the deals page, WT.buzz/deals. Ending this Sunday is that special where you grab 2 months, you'll get a month free. And I would argue grab it now. You'll get some weekend action. Any of your cappers who are breaking down the NFL preseason, you get that alongside MLB. So you get the rest of August free as soon as you buy. It's locked and loaded at any of these guys' page. And again, it expires this Sunday, August 11th. Go over there and check that out. Man, ever since I gave the weather forecast, the chat has just been blowing up about Weatherman. Hal L says, Dan is a stud, and the Weatherman are usually the same. I said, well, I hope my picks are at least more right than the Weatherman usually is. That's a hope for sure. Right. Free Fuji saying that apparently his local meteorologist tried to schmooze his wife. No other context. We're getting some wild comments here, gentlemen. No other context. Just
I got to watch those weather.
Meteorologist was looking to schmooze his wife. You never know what you're going to get here in the YouTube comments, or what kind of usernames you'll get over on TikTok and Instagram. Mick Schneebly wants us to cook a steamy no-run first inning. Well, let us know the first one that you're eyeing, Mick Schneebly, and we'll see what we can add on to there. Good use of the word conundrum from my man Alfred44. Bryan, I'm wondering, you have any thoughts on the Houston and Red Sox game? That's right. Alfred44 whipped out the thesaurus this morning, and he says the Astros game is right. Well, regardless, we'll give him.
That would be a correct.
The effort was there. The effort was there.
Conundrum, Bryan, if he spelled it correctly, because I'd have no clue. No, I'm knocking myself. Like, I'm a math guy. I'm not. I have no clue how to spell. Is it up there on the screen right now? Are we checking it?
It looks pretty right to me. I mean, I'm
works for me.
I'm not a great speller, just like I'm not
Alfred's
a great weather
name,
prognosticator.
So I think he's probably right. I like it.
So Alfred asking about this conundrum of a game. It's the Red Sox. It's the Astros. What are you thinking about this one, Bryan? Is it a conundrum for you as well?
I do have an opinion on this game, but I want to go back since we just Steve
Go
talked
ahead.
about the Cleveland Minnesota series. Louis Varland, I was down to spring training down in Florida this year. I usually go to Arizona. I had a chance to see Louis Varland pitch twice. The guy has electric stuff. He looked terrific in spring training. He's looked terrific at times in the minor leagues. When he gets up to the majors, he gets hit. I don't know what the reasoning is. Sometimes we get, those 4A guys that can't pitch well in the majors, but I think you usually find some value in him right now because his numbers have been so bad. But he's got some talent. Alex Cobb going from San Francisco to Cleveland. I think the Guardians' future depends on Alex Cobb, and that's not a good thing because he's hurt all the time. But when he does pitch, he's very good. But getting back to Bailey Ober in the first game of the series, some interesting stats for Ober. Now, one of the people in the talked about they don't believe in Ober. I'm a big Ober fan. If you take a look at his ERAs, in 2022 he was a rookie, 3.21. Last year, 3.43. Currently, right now, 3.69. But keep in mind, his first start of the season against the Kansas City Royals, he gave up 8 earned runs in 1.1 innings of work. His ERA is now down to 3.69. Tells you how good he is. I wouldn't want to go against Bailey Ober at this point. The guy's proven himself, and I think it's going to be tough for this Cleveland offense to get to him. Getting back to the other game that we're looking to discuss, and that's the Boston game. Speaking about concerns, I do have some concerns about Houck. Houck has not pitched well as of late. He was great early in the season, and I liked what the Red Sox did with him, getting rid of his fastball. His fastball's never been terrific, and he pitched very well. But lately, his last few starts, he's given up a lot of home runs. And if you've got a guy who is a fly ball pitcher giving up home runs, pitching in Boston against this Houston offense may not be the cure. And you've got the Red Sox here anywhere from like a 127 to 130 favorite. Blanco has done everything asked for him for Houston. Houston's had these major major pitching problems with their starters. Very much like Cleveland and most of the league. But he has been one of the steadiest guys for Houston all season long, Granel Blanco. And you're getting him here as a nice dog with a struggling pitcher. Houck, I like Houck overall, but something's just wrong with him right now. And in this ballpark, I don't want any part of him. So I think maybe the Houston, you're looking at a total of 10, maybe the Houston team total over. Something to that effect would not be a bad bet, but I don't want any part of Houck here in this contest.
Yeah, and also touching upon that, breakdown there, obviously with the Astros and Red Sox, pointing out as well with that Guardians and Twins game, that is the lone early game on the board, and it's because it's that part of the doubleheader. Looks like game 2 going to be Cobb and Varland, like those gentlemen were touching on there. So in case you weren't sure which game we were touching upon, obviously we were touching more upon game 1 there. Steve, any thoughts for you on this conundrum of a game, Red Sox and Astros? We got best bets coming up, so don't worry, folks. Those are coming your way here. We got Steve. He's going to talk some Dodgers and Pirates, and Bryan is going to be talking the Battle of Chicago, game that everyone wants to hear about, the Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. How are we going to be betting that? And the Dodgers and Pirates, those are the best bets coming your way here. But, Steve, any closing thoughts here, Astros and Red Sox, for the conundrum of a matchup?
Well, Blanco's a guy that burnt me a few times earlier this season. He was vastly outperforming, and I was like, this guy is not playing square. He's not playing fair. And then, boom, he gets caught and suspended. So he's always kind of a big question mark for me when he's on the mound. I have had some success the past couple of weeks playing Red Sox games over for my clients as best bets. And obviously, we have to check the weather. I don't think it's going to reach New England by tonight, but this storm system definitely could affect New England tomorrow and Sunday. And going back to run differential, I talked about how the Royals are third in their own division with the best run differential. Well, Houston was second earlier this week. They have now tied Seattle for first, and they're plus 44. Mariners are plus 19. So the Astros should pull ahead and win this division. But the Red Sox are also catching up. They're just 1.5 back in the wild cards. This is a very important weekend series. I think they get it in tonight on Friday, but this Saturday especially could be a little dicey with the weather.
Yeah, over on Instagram, we got a shout out from Barry Bader 6. Barry Bader 6 saying, shout out Vladdy Guerrero, 20-game hitting streak. It's the A's against the Blue Jays. If he wants to continue that, unfortunately, he has to play the A's as they're playing. Arguably, I know they had that stretch early on in the year, but this is the best baseball they've been playing. I think it's been 5 straight series wins in their past 7, or not 5 straight, but they picked up 5 in their last 7. 18-12 records since the month of July. So they've been rolling. It's going to be Spence and Berrios. Bryan, you think Vladdy could continue this hitting streak against the A's, or just any opinion you have here on the game? 7:07 first pitch in this one.
We just got notice on the WagerTalk line service that Joey Cantillo will be pitching the opener. He's looked pretty good in that Cleveland-Minnesota game. So he's looked pretty good so far. I've been pretty impressed. I don't have much on this one. Spence has been a guy that I made a little bit of money on. Berrios, when you take a look at some of his extended numbers, he has not been very impressive. Both teams able to hit. We're looking at a total of 8.5 here, leaning to the over. There is 1.9 under. Good hitters ballpark for the most part. 2 teams hitting very well, and I don't trust Berrios here. And when you've got a hitter like Toronto, which was just mentioned, he's their best hitter, and he is just simply on fire. There's no way I'm going to play anything but the over here. I think the over is the way to go. It's sitting at 8.5, which is
fair.
Little low, I think. I think it should. I think this game will at least reach 9. So let's play the over, I think, in that one.
Over A's and Blue Jays. Folks, keep those comments coming. We appreciate it. While you're hanging out, hit that follow button on your social channels. If you're watching us on YouTube, that it doesn't even take a second, and it's a great way to say thanks to these guys breaking down the card for you, giving you free plays around the clock here on WagerTalk TV. Steve, when we first had you on here, you talked that Rangers and Yankees game. We mentioned how the Yankees kind of limping into this one against the Rangers. The other side of that equation was that they lost to the Angels, and now you get the Angels playing the Nationals. How many people do you think are running to bet the Angels at plus money after they just check the box score? Oh my God, they just beat the Yankees again. We get plus money against the Nats. This has to be the ultimate sell high spot on an Angels team that they got to beat up on a Yankees team who's really struggled at home. Now they travel to another ballpark against a team like the Nationals that you know well. Looks like Parker and Soriano in this one. Any thoughts, Angels, Nationals for you, Steve?
Well, I mean, the Nationals have definitely faded. We were toying with the idea that there may be a wild card team a couple of months ago, but they fell about the past month. They're now 9.5 back of the wild card spot. So it is a team to be careful with. By the way, Dan, don't act like you weren't watching that White Sox Athletics series earlier this week, because when the White Sox won on Tuesday, stopped the losing streak at 21, which tied my childhood Baltimore Orioles from 1988 when they started 0-21. I vividly remember that team. I was like in 8th grade or 7th grade. And then, of course, your Phillies, 1961, have the MLB modern record for 23 straight losses. So you were very happy to see those White Sox, or actually you were very upset probably to see the A's lose to the White Sox. You wanted to see that record broken by the White Sox. But the Nationals aren't going to lose that many here. There we go. That's the 1961 Phillies mascot on the screen right now. You see in front of my Nationals and the Angels.
That's just that ain't no angel.
That ain't no angel right there. It possibly could be an angel. Who knows? I don't know what happens to skeletons. We'll have to ask Plymouth 1619 reparations. He might know. Nationals, by the way, 12-18 their last 30. Angels 15-15 their last 30. So it's not like there's a huge difference between these teams. And I don't do a lot of contrarian work, but I think you're onto something, Dan. This is probably going to be a public underdog tonight. So if that's the case, probably gets my attention to fade the public with the Nationals as a small favorite.
All right, guys, let's do some best bets here. You can check these guys out over at WagerTalk.com for their true best bets. Bryan already told you, hey, what I'm giving you is probably what I'm going to have here today unless anything changes on the card. But NFL action right around the corner. You can grab that 2 months and get a month free rest through here of August. So, Bryan, for you, we alluded to it, the Battle of Chicago. How are we betting Cubs and the White Sox? And also tell folks why they should be partnering with you with this this deal that's expiring here on Sunday. White Sox and Chicago Cubs, and this 2 months, get one free. Hell of a deal, right, Bryan?
It is a hell of a deal with football going on right now. Also, I don't do the preseason, but I do regular season. I've had a lot of success in college football as well. 9-3 run right now. It's going very well. I did lose my 5-star earlier in the week. 4-0 lead in the first inning for San Francisco. And I think Washington had their hitting shoes on that day. I think they scored like 11 straight runs, but been on a real nice run in baseball. And as I mentioned before, number one in MLB net profit, all going all the way back to May 1st. So I will have more plays up today. It's very early, and we got a lot. Most of the games are on the nighttime card, but so far 2 plays, and this is one of them here. The Cubs have a 94 WRC plus on the season versus Southpaws, 6% worse than league average. They now face one of the premier lefties in baseball, and it's been a wild season for Garrett Crochet, to say the least. After pitching a combined 12.2 innings the last 2 seasons because of injury and being a relief pitcher, he was stretched out as a starter this year, and what a year it has been. 3.19 ERA, 1.01 whip. His expected ERA is even better at 2.57. His strikeout to walk percentage is an elite 27.6 compared to league average, which is 13.8. He is twice as good over league average than any pitcher in baseball. He's just been tremendous. When you're taking a look at pitching, you want one thing to look at: strikeout minus walk ratio. The better that is, the better the pitcher is in the long run. It's the easiest way to see if you got a good pitching matchup is to take a look at strikeouts minus walks. You've got to be able to keep people off base. You've got to be able to strike them out because we've seen some bad defense this year, bad umpiring too. But that's something I always take a look at, and he's been terrific. His expected ERA is in the 97th percentile, expected batting average in the 95th percentile, extension in the 94th percentile. His ERA at home this year, in a pretty good hitter's ballpark, I think, is Chicago's 2.60 ERA, 0.95 whip. Now, in order to preserve innings, he hasn't thrown more than 4 in any of his last 5 starts. And now that the trade deadline is passed, he could be more relaxed knowing where he's going to be the remainder of the season. He was the major trade chip for the White Sox, and they didn't trade him. They didn't get the offers they wanted for him. I probably expect him to continue to pitch 4 innings or in that range because they're going to try to limit him and trade him in the off season. Jameson Taillon is quietly having a pretty good season. 3.25 ERA, 1.16 whip. His expected ERA is a solid 3.79 and over a full run better than a year ago. He's had a really nice season. His walk percentage is an elite 91st this season, and they hit him hard. Last time he played the White Sox, got him for 5 earned runs and 5 innings of work. And I usually like to back that team the second time they face them. You know, that was only 1 or 2 starts this season that Taillon has allowed more than 3 earned runs in a game. Don't trust the bullpen for the White Sox. In fact, don't trust a lot of things on this White Sox team. But what I want to play here is the first half of this game. It's Grady Sizemore's first coaching game of his career. Former Cleveland Indians outfielder, came out of nowhere and was named the coach for the remainder of the season here for Chicago. I think we're going to see a low-scoring first half in this contest with 2 pitchers I really like. Concerns about the offenses. Let's play that first half of this game under the total. I think it's a very nice price.
Under in the first 5, looking at the 4. So an ugly start to the game. And Richie Lockhart probably likes hearing that breakdown because he's looking at the White Sox first 5, getting the half a run is his pick. So, hey, we like that dog correlated with that under. That's the way that Bryan is breaking it down. Best of luck to you, Richie L, on your play. All right, Steve, best bet for you. Let's talk the Dodgers and the Pirates. I'm wondering how you're looking to bet this game, as it's a bit of a potential homecoming angle, if you will, for Jack Flaherty. He's going to be getting his first start in that Dodgers uniform for his hometown Dodgers. I think he was born not far from the park in Burbank is where he's from. So he'll be opposing Mitch Keller. You think there's a potential bet on spot here for the Dodgers with this homecoming for Flaherty? How are you looking to bet this one, Steve? And what do you have over at WagerTalk.com?
Yeah, let's take a look at this late night game for Friday, a little late night special for you at 10 o'clock Eastern, Pittsburgh at LA. And I do think there's a nice betting opportunity. I'm going to give that to you free here with analysis in just a moment. Quick reminder, though, if you're liking these free play videos and these live shows on Wager Talk TV, click subscribe and click the bell for instant alerts, because I also have a breakdown of both the men's bronze and gold medal basketball games for the Olympics later this evening on Friday here on the channel. Thumbs up also and comment below. Dodgers, -1.5 run line. Let's get right to it. I think that's the way to play this game. There's several reasons why. First of all, the Flaherty factor. Now, look, it was a slam dunk play when he was against Oakland in the first game. One of my favorite angles is when you get a guy traded from probably a non-contender, and that was Detroit, to a contender. It's just like a spark. It's a new life in the middle of the season, and Flaherty was fantastic. The Dodgers won that game 10-0 on the road at Oakland last Saturday, and Flaherty obviously played a large role in that. He went 6 innings, no earned runs, 7 strikeouts, only 1 walk. So maybe we missed the spot right at Oakland. Well, I don't think we did, because now the Dodgers are back at home for his first home start with his new team. And I think this will be spark plug number 2 here. And I have no problem fading the Pirates as long as, let's check. Yep, no Paul Skeens. We're safe. We can fade the Pirates tonight because they've got a guy that's actually a decent pitcher on the mound in Keller. In fact, what's funny about Keller is he was not an all-star this year, better ERA and whip than he did last year when he made the all-star team. Finished in the ERA4 last season. Mitch Keller made the all-star team last year, I guess because the Pirates had to put somebody there. He's a respectable starter, but Flaherty is better. The Dodgers are a much better offensive team. And as is often the case, I've talked about this for years, when we play Dodger games, we either play against them and take the plus money underdog, or we lay the 1.5 with the Dodgers to win by margin. And yes, the Dodgers are just 4-6 their last 10 games. But once again, those 6 losses outright, we played against them as a dog. You would have done fine. And 3 of their last 4 losses during this span have come by 2 runs or more. They've won by margin. So once again, get the $2 price all the way down to a plus money price, -1.5, plus 105 run line with the Dodgers and Flaherty. I think that's a good value play tonight on Friday in game 1 of the series. Always like to play the better team in game 1s on Fridays. They come focused, and the Dodgers with Flaherty have a little extra focus tonight. LA Dodgers run line is my preferred play in this late night game at 10 o'clock Eastern. And don't forget, if you'd like to get my official best bets for tonight on Friday in baseball, you can get them right now on my page, and you can get them for free when you sign up for September, October All Sports, because I'm including the rest of August All Sports for free. And that offer expires this Sunday, as you see on the screen, on the 11th. So you only have 3 days to go. So why wait until Sunday? Get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday included as that rest of August for free. My strong best bets tonight on Friday in baseball, then all the football in September and October, even the start of the NBA playoffs, all the way through the World Series here in late October. Everything for August free when you buy September, October. No promo code needed. It's on my page right now, along with a daily free play. Steve Merril, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with shortcut WT.buzz/SM. And also remember to follow me on X on Twitter at Steve Merril, 2 R's, 1 L, at Steve Merril on Twitter and X. And stay tuned here to Wager Talk TV, because later this evening I'll have both the bronze and gold medal previews for the Olympic men's basketball between Germany and Serbia and France, Team USA.
That's Steve Merril looking with laying the lumber with the Dodgers. Richie Lockhart also asking about looking at Jack Flaherty's strikeout prop going over. If the number's sitting at 6.5, could get a little bit dicey. I would maybe look towards more his outs recorded as opposed to, you have your strikeouts there, but total outs recorded could be the way to attack it, because he's only had one start here with the Dodgers since being acquired from Detroit. He did just go over that 6.5, but before that only did it twice, and it's kind of up and down, inconsistent. But with the homecoming, if he can go deep, maybe you look at the total outs recorded as opposed to the strikeouts that he's earning. Just looking for him to go potentially deep. That would be my suggest, Richie, because that number sounds just about right to me. So hop below in the comments. Let us know what anything that you're eyeing and your best bets here for the day. The gentleman's best bet, Steve laying the 1.5 with the Dodgers, and Bryan looking at the under in the Cubs and the Chicago White Sox. You want the true best bets? Head on over to WagerTalk.com. Big thanks to Bryan, Leonard, and Steve Merril. I've been Dan Alexander. Another week of shows coming to a close here on First Pitch, but make sure you're subscribed and you hit that little bell, because coming your way in under 20 minutes, Wager Talk today. Andy Lang, Ross Benjamin, Carmine Bianco. You want soccer, baseball, NFL preseason, UFC, golf, all of those breakdowns coming your way alongside an NFL preseason breakdown from Teddy Covers on the Texans and Steelers. So stay tuned right here on Wager Talk TV. On the way out, hit that like button. If you're watching us on social, hit that follow and let us know what you're looking to bet today. Best of luck this weekend, everyone. Hopefully next time we talk to you on Monday, it's with a little more money in our pocket. Until then, best of luck, folks.